It is great to be engaged in conversation on a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And Mrs. Zeta has engaged me in conversation in addressing some of the things that I've been talking about with MGTOW. And hopefully more men and women or women will jump on board and make comments as well, so we can move the add to the conversation and move the topic forward in a positive way, in the same positive way that we have been doing it, that has been recently occurring, and men in general has been doing for a while now. And hopefully it will keep moving in that direction. Um, the one thing I will say is that I didn't when that Mrs. Zeta mentioned is the manning up thing, and again, I when I referred to manning up, I meant it was being only in the context of good manners. You shouldn't care how a person feel, feel sad or guilty for stating your facts as to how you're seeing things and where you want things to go. That may not include somebody that you may have engaged with and showed interest in prior, and then came to a realization that this person is not who you want to be with or want to engage with any further. And rather than simply ghosting that person, I say it's good manners and it's manly. It's to simply state your truth to that person so nobody's left hanging. And we did agree on that, but that's the only really the only that's the context in which I used the manning up thing. It has nothing to do with anything else um, at all. But I see it keeps coming up. So I thought I'll address it one more time in that regard. I'm also doing the video response because I have a Multron keyboard and I'm still learning how to use it. So I type fairly slow with it. And also, it's easier for me. This works best for me. I can read the information on his the comments on my screen and respond to it verbally. That just seems to work better for me. So hopefully it's acceptable to you guys as well. So I'll jump right into the comments. Mr. Seda suggested that women benefit more from marriage and divorces, of course. And I totally agree. In Western culture and Western laws, all this stuff is catered to women. They seem to benefit a lot from that, and feminism had a lot to do with that. And of obviously, women is not is going to take what benefits them, and it's completely intertwined into society. Even though the laws is not gender biased, the people that execute or the laws or enforce the laws, it is gender biased. They are the ones that's gender biased because the infiltration of the feminist mindset not only brainwashed women, but has also brainwashed a bunch of simping men and young men. If they're not taught or do not see examples of what men are about, um, that's how they grow up, feminized. And that's what we're dealing with today. So, yes, I do agree that um, women benefit a lot more than men when it comes to marriage and divorce. And in some cases where women make more money than men, the men benefit because the law is really, um, the law is not gender biased, but the people that enforce it, they are gender biased. Um, and there are lots of cases where you see women have to pay alimony and all that stuff, to men. Child support, the thing with Britney Spears, Monique, those are just a couple. Because I don't want this video to be crazy long. I would also tie in the part where one of the other comments was that marriage is a legal form of prostitution. Any kind of business transaction is a legal form of. It has a prostitution way about it. You're trading your time, your body, your intellectual assets in exchange for money. That's a form of prostitution if you're looking at it that way. But prostitution is a business. It's a business transaction. So um, marriage license, a marriage is a business transaction. So yes, I do agree with that from that perspective. Now, if there's another perspective where marriage is a form of legal prostitution that has nothing to do with anything else, you know, we can expand that conversation. That'll be a great topic to pursue. But yes, I do agree with that. And um, of course, I spoke about duality, and I'm looking at the comments here. I believe in the duality of things. Western Eastern philosophies um, talks about duality and as such, and in that regard, yes, I believe I see it. I experience those dualities, and I see it within MGTOW, the MGTOW mindset of the way we live, and I understand that a lot of you know MGTOW, the diehard ones, are not really interested in cohabitating, creating a legacy and things like that, and I am not there. I still strongly believe that most men are nowhere near that. In because again, we can't fight biology. I mean, we could fight it, and we could go forever and die and not really have kids or create a legacy. But it's not an easy thing to do. Some people are born spiritually more advanced, who can do things like that, and we see those type. There are great examples of people like that all the time. So I'm not discrediting that. There are men who can do that, and but for the most part, most men can't do that. And I would say I'm included in that, even though I'm perfectly happy by myself and prefer to be alone. I'm not going to um, I'm not gonna bash any a relationship that can possibly come my way. I'm open to that, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I have a lot of things that keeps me occupied and busy and doing, and so in that regard, I strongly believe in the dualities. I strongly believe, as I mentioned in the last videos, that you could be in a relationship with a woman, or be in any relationship for that matter, business or otherwise, or personal, and still have a MGTOW mindset where you're just not taking crap. It just is. You're able to see the crap coming and say, "Hey, I'm not about that." You know, we can you can adjust or move on, and not be um, worried about a person's feelings. It just is what it is. Um, or hurting because you're not hurting somebody. You're seeking ultimate peace anyway. So that's the whole thing with that. And finally, one of the other comments was that this is Mr. Zeta saying, and I quote, "I don't think you understand that feminism is just another means of men simping for vagina." He used a different word, but that's the word. Vagina is what he's talking about. I completely agree. I always knew that. I always saw that. I see it all the time. Even when they were doing some of that marching with no underwear or underwear on, just an underwear slut walk or something like that. See a bunch of men up in there supporting that, you know. But that's their deal. That's their problem. They're the ones simping. They're simping. Um, I didn't comment on it. I didn't really care about it. That's their business. I just know I wouldn't want to be involved in a relationship with any one of those women that's there, because to me it's classless. Um, there's no decorum there. There's no self. There's nothing. Um, there's no sense of decency in a situation like that. Um, you just walk around half naked, butt naked because you can. Just because you could do something doesn't mean you should. And in that regard, yes, feminism is just another means of men simping. I completely agree with that. I always agreed with something like that, even though I don't say it in those words. It is a form of simping, and worry ghosting to me again is another form of simping, because you probably ghosting because you don't want to be bothered with dealing with a woman, or probably feeling guilty, wanting to feel guilty. But you shouldn't feel guilty if you know what you want and you've come to the conclusion that this person is not who you want to be with or engage in any further, and you just let them know that and you keep it moving. That's all. So in that regard, everything that Mr. Zeta has commented on, we agree on it, and we both. acknowledge the fact that we agree on a lot of things. It's just the nuances of those things. And society is Western society is in such a place where it's feminizing men. He used the term gynocentric society, and yes, I completely agree with that. I've had conversation with some of my athletes concerning their being feminized in such a way, and all hypersensitive and emotional and stuff. Men don't act like that. Yes, we have the ability to do it, and just because we could doesn't mean we should. Because we still have to be the firm foundation that society is built on. Everything that is existing, men built, and we didn't build those things on emotion. So even the bad things, wars and all that stuff, but all those things in the modes of material nature has a place. Wars, death, disease, destruction, development, invention, all that stuff is part of the modes of material nature. So none of this stuff is either evil or good. It's just how we perceive it to be. If you have any questions, ask it in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe. Please add to the conversation. I'm really grateful that you know I'm being engaged in some of the things I talk about. And even though there are some agreements, there's also some disagreements, and I hope there will be more disagreements to come because that's how the conversation, different perspectives can be viewed, observed, analyzed, accepted, rejected, uh, assimilated, to move this stuff forward. So again, thanks to Mr. Zeta. I appreciate the, the the time you take to write your comments, and I address it with respect and admiration because it's not easy to take the time to type uh, such thoughtful responses, even if we don't agree on some of those things. Again, you guys make some comments in the section down below, like and subscribe. You all have a good day.